the most essential shift that almost all of my successful clients report is this shift in going from not enough, always feeling not enough, always feeling like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to get you to like me? What do I have to do to get you to want me? How do I have to be? How do I have to turn myself inside out? What is the secret spell, the secret answer, the secret twist that is finally gonna make you want me and make me enough for you, right? That's the old world. That's the old model. And the most essential transformation that needs to happen is to go from that world to the world of being securely confident that I am enough. A clear recognition that I am enough for love. I am enough to be loved. I am attractive enough. I am smart enough. I am capable enough. If I want that job, I'm enough to get that. If I want to be accepted into a group or make friends, like I'm enough for that, right? It's a fundamental shift from not enough, where I have to somehow be more than I am to get what I want from life. Shifting from that to a clarity and a confidence in that I am clear in who I am. I am clear in what I offer. All the external things come and go. That person can like you one day and not like you the next. Like getting that short-term satisfaction is not enough. It's just not enough, right? And so you've got to ultimately recognize that getting any amount of external gratification is only a very short high followed by a crash. And that the only real reward in life is to recognize yourself as enough. The only real success you can have in life is to have an identity that is built around enoughness. And so what my clients report when they experience this shift, and it's an internal shift, and it's like, I remember when it happened for me, and today I want to share a little bit about what my journey was like and how this shift happened for me. But what my clients report when they experience this shift is that they go from an automatic reaction of feeling insufficient in relationship with other people, right? So if you're on a date with someone, or if you're going for a job interview or whatever it is, right? But like there's this automatic assumption that I am insufficient for other people, in relationship with other people, that I'm insufficient and I have to add something to myself to make myself enough. And then on the other side of this shift, what is experienced is a clarity and a confidence that I am enough as I am. I don't need to add anything to myself. I don't need to be more than I am, to be loved, to be accepted, to create what I want in life, to manifest my dreams, whatever thing you want to put on the end of that. But recognizing yourself as enough, creating an identity around enoughness, that is the only true success you can have in life. And so what I want to talk about today is really the process of creating that, right? I'm going to talk about the overarching journey of letting go of the old identity, born in not enoughness, born in incompleteness, born in insufficiency, and taking on this new identity that says I am enough. Because what happens is, when you get to the other side of this equation, when you get to the other side of this identity, the experience of it, I'm just going to tell you how it felt for me, and then I'll share what some of my clients have said as well. But this is how it felt for me. And I remember very clearly, I was in my mid-20s when this happened for me. And I had a history of chasing women who didn't give me the time of day. And just all the stuff that, right, like all the mistakes I was making them. And I just remember, and it was a result of a lot of the work I was doing, and it was a result of a lot of stuff. But I remember when this shift happened for me. And what it felt like was that I just stopped questioning myself. And I started feeling the courage to talk to anyone. And there was a certainty inside of me that I would be accepted by them. Like I had lived my whole life with this fear of like social anxiety of like, I can't talk to people. Like if I was in a room of crowded people, it was like, what are they thinking of me? And I was like always kind of watching, like if people were looking at me and very aware of like how I was presenting myself, very aware of how I was dressed, an obsession almost on like how I looked and how I was dressed. And it's just like all of this. And I was run by this. This was my life. Right? This was my life. I was run by all of this. And I started getting into healing work when I was 23, 24 years old. And I mean, I've been in it ever since, well over a decade now. And, when I started getting into this work and I started to experience this shift, all of that fear that had run me my entire life just started to fall away. And what I started to feel was, like I said, it was just this certainty that I could approach anyone and be accepted by them. It was just this clarity. It was like I had come out of a fog and I could suddenly see the light, and I just realized the simple truth that there was nothing wrong with me, that there was never anything wrong with me. And yeah, I had fears and insecurities and I'd made mistakes, and I wasn't necessarily where I wanted to be in life. And, I had all the same stuff, but what I realized was none of that stuff made me bad or made me wrong or made me insufficient. In fact, I was just very much equal to everyone else on the planet. I was just very much equal, very much human, very much dealing with the same things that every single person on this planet is dealing with. And there was this incredible freedom. And I didn't feel like I needed to hide in life anymore. And I didn't feel like I needed to prove myself anymore. I didn't feel like I needed to add something to myself to be sufficient. There was just this trust in who I am and what I am. And something else that came with that was an entirely new relationship with rejection. It was an entirely new relationship with rejection because I was so clear about who I was and how great I was and how gifted I was and, all the things that were amazing about me. I was so clear about that when someone else didn't see it, in the past I would have gone, what's wrong with me? I started to go, well, there must be something off with them. Because I'm bringing nothing but love and light and awesomeness. And if they're not picking up on that, they must not be the kind of person who can receive it. This was a shift, and it didn't happen overnight. It came in stages. But I remember in my late 20s was when it really started to settle in. And this was when I really started stepping into my career in a big way. It was when I started the living relationship. It was when I proposed to my wife. Right, so it was in my late 20s when this really, really started to settle in, and it really started to sink in, and I just started to live with this clear confidence that there is nothing wrong with me. I am not less than anyone. I am very much equal. I am very much equal. I am very much on the same playing field as every single other person on this planet, and that makes me equally worthy to every single person on this planet, right? What is the journey to go from the old world, not enough, to the new world, confident, clear certainty that I am enough, right? What does that journey look like? And the journey begins with trauma. And so some of us have experienced very obvious trauma in our life. Some of us were beat, some of us were molested, some of us were abused, some of us have experienced very obvious trauma in our life. But some of you didn't experience all of that. Some of you were just the shy kid in the back of the classroom that didn't know how to get along with the other students. And so you didn't have this trauma that was punching you in the face like some people did. But you had a subtle kind of trauma where maybe as year by year went by, and you go from kindergarten to first grade to second grade to third grade, you just started to isolate more and more and more and more. And I'm gonna say this has happened to all of us in different ways. Whether it was the obvious abuse, whether it was the more subtle trauma, and we are perfectly nurtured, we are perfectly cared for, we are perfectly provided for, all of our needs are met without us even asking for it. And then suddenly, we experience coldness, we experience pain, we experience force, we experience loud noise, we experience chaos, and then we start to go through life, and every other separation we experience adds on to that initial one. We experience being punished. We experience being criticized. We experience being told to be better at sports or be better at school. We experienced constantly being reinforced that we needed to live up to the expectations of others and that who we were was not enough. And this is something that all of us got. In the Inspired Love program, I call it conditional love. Conditional love are all the impressions we got from our parents and teachers and people throughout our lives that say, you're only good if you get straight A's, or you're only good if you're a top athlete, or you're only good if you do all your chores, or you're only good if you behave a certain way, you're only good if you smile and act nice. And we've been systematically taught from the time we were born to shut down our authenticity and conform to someone else's idea of who we should be. And this is all trauma. So you've got to understand that trauma is anything that causes you to shut down a part of your authenticity and withhold a part of yourself. And some of you might be saying, okay, well, how is this important? Well, this is how it's important. Because when you were 2 years old, you were taught to shut down a part of yourself. And now maybe you're 32 years old or 42 years old, and you have never learned to give that part of yourself authentic expression. You have never learned to let that part of yourself be seen, be expressed, be validated, be honored, be loved. What you've actually done is you have exiled a part of yourself. And every part of yourself that you exile contributes to your feelings of unworthiness. The very irony in this is that all of the exiled aspects of us are the very things that when we give them full expression, has someone else fall in love with us. Those are like the missing puzzle pieces to our personality, that when we actually give those full authentic expression, our amazingness comes out and people fall in love with us. And so like the irony is the parts of you that you were told to disown and exile as a child are the very components you need to have a fulfilled and passionate life that's full of love, full of abundance. Sending you all so much love wherever you are, however you are receiving this message. Thank you for being with me today and thank you for hearing it. Sending you lots of love, and I'll be back with you next week. Many blessings, everybody. Take care. Bye.